Am I the jerk for refusing to help my uncle? I'm a 38-year-old single father raising 2 kids on my own. My ex-wife was emotionally and physically abusive throughout our marriage. She eventually left me for someone younger when I was just 27. From that point, I had to rebuild my life on my own. It took years of hard work, but now I have a stable career and make a comfortable 6-figure income. To give some background, my family didn't support me during my divorce, despite being well off themselves. I had to relocate to a different state to find affordable housing and employment. Many of my relatives, including my mother's brother, the uncle I'm referring to, blamed me for ruining the family's reputation. He actively spread rumors about me and sided with my ex-wife during our custody battle. For 2 long years, he did everything he could to help her take my kids away from me. Fortunately, I eventually won custody, and now my children and I are thriving. Recently, though, this same uncle has been contacting me, asking for financial help, and even requesting that I assist his kids in finding jobs. I told him to ask the ex-wife he supported for assistance instead. Now I'm wondering if I was too harsh, as my mother insists I should have helped. Honestly, after everything he put me through, I don't think I owe him anything. My uncle is incredibly bold to even ask. If he calls again, I'm tempted to just laugh and hang up without saying a word. Why should I help someone who did nothing but make my life harder when I needed support the most? He can turn to anyone else, just not me. I've moved on, and he should too. After reflecting on this and reading through your responses, I've come to realize I wasn't wrong in standing my ground. In my culture, we're expected to respect our elders, even when they've treated us terribly. My mother is trying to guilt-trip me into helping my uncle, but I don't need that kind of toxicity in my life. So, I've decided to cut ties with my uncle completely and go low contact with my parents for a while. Tomorrow, I'll meet with my mother to discuss my decision. I expect tears and accusations of being an ungrateful son, but I'm staying firm. I'll update you all if anything noteworthy happens. Next story. Am I the jerk for refusing to help my sister's kids after she passed away, even though I can afford it? I'm a 40-year-old man, and I've always had a strained relationship with my younger sister, Emily, who was 35. Growing up, we were never close. Emily was the golden child, always getting special treatment from our parents. Meanwhile, I was expected to bail her out of trouble constantly. She made a lot of poor decisions, dropped out of college, ran into legal issues, and had children she couldn't afford with different partners. 5 months ago, Emily tragically passed away in a car accident, leaving behind 4 children from 2 different fathers. It was a heartbreaking loss, but I can't say Emily's chaotic choices didn't contribute to her situation. She had no life insurance, no savings, and left her kids in a tough spot financially. My parents, who are retired and living on a fixed income, have been pressuring me to take over supporting her kids. I'm in a good financial position. I run a successful business, and my partner and I live comfortably. We don't have kids of our own, and my parents think this means I should step up and take care of Emily's children now that she's gone. They want me to create college funds, help with living expenses, and even assist the fathers of her children, both of whom are struggling financially. But here's the thing. I don't want to. I know it sounds harsh, but I feel like I'm being asked to pay for my sister's mistakes. I barely had a relationship with her, and I don't know her kids that well. I spent my whole life cleaning up after Emily, and now that she's gone, I finally feel free of that burden. I didn't ask her to have multiple kids without a plan for their future. My partner agrees with me. We worked hard to build the life we have, and it doesn't seem fair to give up our financial security because of my sister's poor life choices. But my family is furious. They're calling me heartless and saying that I'm abandoning my own blood, and that without my help, Emily's children will end up in poverty. Even some of my friends think I'm being too cold and should at least offer some support. I get that her kids didn't ask to be born into this situation, but I don't think it's my responsibility to fix everything just because I'm the one with the money. Those kids still have their fathers, and they're eligible for financial assistance like Social Security. Their fathers need to step up and handle things. But now I'm left wondering, am I really the jerk for refusing to financially support my late sister's kids, even though I can afford it? Next story. Am I the jerk for telling my dad? He made a bad decision, and I don't need to fix it. When I was 5, my mom passed away. I'm now 16, but back then, I didn't fully grasp what was happening. By the time I was 7, my dad started dating again and met Jessica. Initially, I was upset and didn't want anything to do with her, but she was patient. She let me express my anger and reassured me that she wasn't trying to replace my mom. Jessica said she liked my dad and wanted to have a good relationship with me, but she didn't need to be my mom for us to get along. Over time, I grew to like her, and things were good for a while. When I was 10, though, my dad suddenly broke up with Jessica. He said she wasn't trying hard enough to be a real mom for me. I was heartbroken. I told him I didn't need another mom because I loved Jessica for who she was. She wasn't trying to be someone else, and I appreciated that. Jessica didn't see the breakup coming, and I don't think my dad ever warned her that this was a deal breaker. Not long after, my dad met Linda, who had a young daughter. I was 11, and from the start, Linda made it clear she wanted to be my new mom. I, on the other hand, was not on board. I told her repeatedly that I didn't want a replacement mom. I still missed Jessica and wasn't open to anyone taking that role. Despite this, my dad and Linda got married when I turned 12. Now that I'm 16, my dad seems to have finally understood that I'm serious about not wanting a new mom. Linda has tried her best to win me over, but I'm just not interested. Recently, Linda found out that I'd messaged Jessica to apologize for what happened with my dad and to tell her I missed her. Linda was upset, saying that she's never even heard me say I like her. I told her honestly, I don't. I don't like people who don't listen and who try to force things on me. A few nights ago, my dad pulled me aside. He said he now realizes how much I loved Jessica, but that he only wanted what was best for me. He still believes Linda would be a great second mom, and that we could all be a happy family if I just gave it a chance. He mentioned that his marriage to Linda might be in trouble if I don't start accepting her. I told him bluntly that he made a bad decision, and I'm not going to fix it for him. I explained that while it's fine if he didn't think Jessica was the one, I loved her because she wasn't trying to be my mom. My dislike for Linda isn't going to change, and I'm not looking for a new mom. My dad was angry and told me I had no right to speak to him that way. But now I'm wondering, am I the jerk here? Last story. Am I the jerk for showing favoritism to my grandkids and telling my daughter-in-law it's her fault? This story revolves around my son Mark and my daughter-in-law Sarah. They've been married for about 10 years and have 2 children. ages 10 and 6. In the beginning, I made a real effort to get along with Sarah, but it was challenging. She's not very social, and often prioritizes her own mother over spending time with her husband's family. This becomes especially clear during holidays or family events. No matter what I plan, she always chooses to spend them with her mom, even if I try to accommodate by planning for earlier or later days. If I offer to babysit, she either tells me to ask her mom or says she'll get back to me, but rarely does. Whenever I do get to see my grandkids, Sarah constantly criticizes how I handle things, saying it's not how she or her mother would do it. My son used to try to mediate between us, but he eventually gave up, and now I mostly see him without Sarah and the kids. I've asked multiple times if I've done something wrong, but I never get a clear answer. After a while, I gave up trying. My relationship with my other son, Adam, and his wife Emily, is completely different. They have 2 children, Ava, who is 9, and their son, who is 4. I'm much closer to them, and everything is smoother. Recently, I gave Ava a family heirloom necklace that once belonged to my mother. She loved it, and even started wearing it to school, which is how this whole situation started. Sarah called me and asked why Ava got a family necklace, while her daughter, who is older, did not. I told her that I simply wanted to give it to Ava. She became furious, accusing me of playing favorites and saying her daughter deserved the necklace more because she's older. I responded by admitting that yes, I am showing favoritism, and it's because of how she's treated me over the years. I told her I don't feel close to her kids because she has kept them away from me, and that her behavior is the reason her children won't be receiving any family heirlooms from me. This led to a huge argument. She called me a jerk and demanded that I give her daughter a necklace too. Now I'm second-guessing myself.